Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Creative Insider Podcast number 54 with me, Georgi. In this episode, I had the pleasure to talk to Max Medina. Max is an architect from Honduras who is currently directing the Lava Architects branch in the country, and he's also working for Prospera, a company that is creating free economic zones to bring prosperity to the country. In this conversation, it was really interesting to discover how design can contribute to generating wealth in the poorer regions of the world. But before we start the conversation with Max, I want to thank you for listening to this podcast, and I want to remind you that if you want to support us, you can do that for free by subscribing to the platform you're listening to and by leaving a good review if possible. Another great way to support us is spreading the word with your friends, colleagues, or family, and anyone that would like this podcast. You can also follow us on our social media channels, which are at TCI Podcast and the LinkedIn page, The Creative Insider. If you want to go a little deeper, below in the description, beside these links, you'll find also a link to Patreon, where you will be able to support us with $5 a month or the wish from your amount of money. And as soon as possible, we'll be also creating some perks for our patrons. So thank you very much. And now we can start with a conversation. And enough with the introduction. Enjoy the conversation with Max Medina.
Just like that.
Hello, Max. How are you doing?
Very good, Georgi. How are you?
I'm good too. It's a funny podcast because it's again intercontinental. So you're in Honduras. I'm in Germany. I just had dinner. You just had lunch, right?
Yes, actually, it was very good. I eat meat, and yeah, it's crazy. You know how this new era of technology can connect people around the world. I don't know. I'm super fan of technology and how this world is evolving to this technology era.
Me too. Totally agree with you, because if there was no this kind of technology, we couldn't have been doing this podcast, or maybe even talking, or maybe even get to somehow connect to each other. So I appreciate technology a lot too. And but for the audience that doesn't know you, and I don't know you that much personally either, you can introduce a little bit yourself and tell a little bit who you are, what you do.
Sure, of course. Well, to everyone that is listening, I'm Max Medina. I'm a young architect that is basically a dreamer. I always try to define me like that because I love to dreams about how I can change the world and how architecture is a key role in all this process. And I'm a guy who is super excited for architecture, and is super excited for all the passionate things that you can find in life. Basically, that's my resume in a very consistent way. And then I am just an architect who is a very blessed guy.
Yeah, and where did you study architecture? Did you study architecture in Honduras?
Yeah. Actually, I studied architecture in the Universidad de San Pedro Sula. It's a university in my hometown in Honduras, and it was I think it's not was like the best university of the world, but it gave me what I need to start forward in this architecture life.
But let's start from the beginning. I usually want to know from every single guest the real beginning of their story, because it's interesting, I think, to share also their early beginnings. Was there a moment in your personal life where clearly you decided I want to be an architect, or did you discover it through someone that's in your family, or how did you figure out you wanted to study this kind of things?
It's funny because like all the architects at the beginning, they they dream to be an artist. Like you can draw, the main career for you is be an architect. So basically, what I do is that I start architecture school to find out if that was what I really want in my life. And to be honest, I get so passionate for the concept because architecture allow me the possibility to create something that will come to my mind and convert it to reality. And that reality can help us to change life of the people. So that concept explode in my head, and I see the possibilities that architecture can bring into the world. And from that, I decide that through my career in the college, I decide that architecture is the one thing that I would like to do with the whole days of my life. You know, from the college to my last days. Like Norman Foster. Norman Foster is an old guy that is like enjoying the life like no one else, and he's still doing architecture, and that's awesome. I would like to be like Norman Foster in my at that age.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point, because no matter what you do, like if you like compared to somebody who has, for example, a successful career in sports, or that's a limited career that you can do until you're like 30, 40 maybe, and then when you're creative, as soon as your brain works, you can do it until you're alive. But you said something nice that I agree with you. Like you have this possibility of turning your imagination into reality. And when you're a student, it's all very experimental, I think, and you try to create the craziest project possible. And now that I'm practicing the profession, I think also, I don't know if you will agree with this, that yes, it's a possibility, but also it's a big responsibility, because we have a limited amount of resources on this planet and a limited amount of surface. So don't you feel the responsibility sometimes if you're doing a project and saying, okay, I'm creating something, but if it doesn't go well, it's not going to be well for anyone, because architecture is basically where you are, whether you're in a home or on the street, whatever you see, wherever you are. So what do you think about this?
Yes, I'm totally agree with you. And architecture is about whole responsibility, and not just to say, okay, I'm just responsible for this kind of stuff. It's about I'm responsible to give that shape, to shape the future for all these people, or for all the person that you're gonna design. And because I think that architecture is a career that can change the people's life. And that is a huge responsibility, because basically you are the leading head that give you the opportunity to, let's call it, give direction to through design to the personal life of one individual. So yeah, it's a huge responsibility, but it's super excited, and I always see it like a challenge for how through design you can change the things. That's more than responsibility. I see like a challenge that excites me a lot, to all the new design and new challenge that you can find out in your life.
I agree with you also on that. It's a cool challenge, and it's a puzzle to solve, so to say. You get the task from the client or from the competition brief, and you have sort of puzzle. It's like not really. It's not a regular process where you, I don't know, read this book and learn this, but it's more like what opportunities can you make out of these limitations, so to say. But you said you first needed to try out, so you just joined the School of Architecture, and then when you were already in, you thought it's the right thing for you. I'm wondering, is it hard to get into a university where you study in Honduras, or was pretty easy?
To be honest, in Honduras they live in a very difficult situation in terms of a country and this is a situation that belongs to all Latin America, but especially in Central America, that you find that there is a lot of inconsistent in the society and a lot of inequality in terms of economic aspect. So in Honduras, is very difficult for the young people to enter in the university. Only that have economic possibilities can go to university, and it's not so hard. But I mean, I'm very grateful to born in a home that it was not rich, but basically never felt me feel that something like
something's missing.
I never felt that missing me in my home. So yeah, it's difficult in terms of the economic aspect and the how the society is seeing that university as a challenge in terms of not everyone has the opportunity to go. But yeah, I was lucky. I was lucky and grateful and blessed for have the opportunity to study.
Yeah, I mean, we here in Europe, I don't think that the general audience knows a lot about Honduras, because it's a relatively small country inside of the whole constellation of countries in Latin America. But the last few years, the most things that we have heard about Honduras is the caravan that left. No, right? They left from Honduras to the U.S. and that there are a lot of people, that are leaving the country for many different reasons. And I think it's through this pandemic, we're more seeing that we are all affected from problem that seems far away. So yeah, I think that countries like Honduras should be supported somehow to work on these social differences you were saying, so that many people can get educated and hope for better. But in terms of like accessing university, do you need just to have the money to pay the fees so you can go into university, or you need to have an exam too to be accepted?
There is the both cases. In my case, I just paid the fee and I get into university. I was very lucky again to study in a high school. It was called La Salle. In Europe, maybe La Salle is an international school that basically it gave me a good platform to enter to university well prepared. So I was super lucky in that aspect.
Yeah, and what do you have now? A bachelor or a master's, or what kind of studies did you have?
I currently only have a bachelor of architecture. Here in Honduras, is you only do the career and you are an architect. I know that in some places in the world is a different procedure to get the license to be an architect. But here in Honduras, is just you only do the career and you are an architect.
Here in Germany, for example, you need to have 2 hours of practice at a already licensed architectural studio. In Italy, you have to take an exam, and then you'll be after university. You need to take an extra exam with the union of the architects. And but how were your studies? What kind of approach did the teacher have? Because I've studied in Germany and I've studied also in Italy. And in the two countries, there are the two different approaches to teaching architecture. In Italy, it was more, theoretical. Also, you needed to read a lot of books. You needed to learn deeply many different subjects. And also the professors were a little bit distant from the students because they felt like they're very established. So they kept a little bit of a distance, in my opinion, with the students. And here in Germany, the approach was more like a small school where you have a few people in class, and then the teacher is very, open and accept almost every idea you have, try to, guide you to put you on the right path. And so I'm wondering, how was your experience with the teachers and what they gave you to you, and how did you feel at the university in general?
That's a very interesting question. Actually, I talked with that with my dean of the career, and she's a old lady that basically she's like dedicated all his life to teach. She always tell that she designed architects, but basically she has been director of the career for 20 years. So yeah, we discussed this topic, and in the university, we find out that our strong field is art and combined with theory, and we put a lot of effort in the aspect of try to go in that process of drawing and be very strong in that skill, so you can go well prepared for the architectural life. My only complaint will be that the integration with technology, and this is not just to my university specifically, is in all Honduras and maybe in all Central America and Latin America. They don't put a lot of effort to push their limits into the new technologies that we can find in programs, in technology of construction and all those kind of things, because architecture is a career that is evolving all the time, and if you don't evolve with them, you're basically gonna get stuck and in the past.
Yeah, that's true. It's like every kind of piece of technology we use in our daily life, like, I don't know, design objects like smartphones and computers. And the same thing is with buildings. They have a little bit of slower pace of, I think, of, evolution, because it's really the biggest objects, so to say, that we build. So you cannot quickly, completely disrupt the whole structure of a building, but it evolves. And I'm curious, how did you fit in a part of, the approach of how you got the things taught to you inside the community at the university, with the other students, with the teachers? How was your relationship with those people?
It's very interesting, because when I get to university, the first year, the first semester of the career, I basically get super excited about the architecture school. And at that time, the president of architecture students, he told me that he saw a lot of potential in me. And in that year, basically, I get know for a lot of the students that was older than me, and he challenged me like, "Hey, I'm gonna leave that charge, and you should take it." And I was like, "Wow, that's a big compliment. Like, you're saying me, and you just know me, and you're saying that I can be the president of the architecture student." And I did it. I take the chance, and I get to be president for architecture student for 4 years. Actually, it was my whole career from the beginning to the end. I get to be the president of the architecture students, and then that lead me, by when I was finished the school, that lead me to receive the invitation for the Architecture Student Association of whole Honduras. and they told me like, "Hey Max, we are doing this project of the Architecture Association that is integrated with the Architecture Association of Latin America, and we would love if you can be part of this." And I was super honored to accept the charge of being president of the architecture students of whole Honduras.
And was that was after you have completed your studies or after your first year at the university?
I was doing my thesis
Oh, you were doing your
when
thesis.
that happened.
And I'm curious also, did this somehow helped you to transition from the university to the professional world? Because in my opinion, that's a crucial moment for every architect or designer, because it's really easy to be in a university, you know, and design your things, but it's very important how you're gonna make the switch from the school to the professional world. So how did that happen in your case? Because you started doing also this union thing, this association, which gave you some visibility. Did that help you also to get your first real job in architecture?
Actually, I will be honest. I see it through this. Architecture, like a professional career, is a thing that is evolving like all the time. So basically, the education part is something that is changing all the time. So what this uh, experience that I had in of being president for 5 years of different associations and of everything related to architecture is give me soft skills to prepare me for the next challenge of the profession. And yes, it get related. It get all related because basically through my ideas and let's call it efforts for try to bring top class, world class education to my country, I get in a position that I met a lot of architects. And I will tell you this story. When I was finished my 4 years presidency of architecture, I decided to do like a cool event. So I say, hey, I will try to invite one of the best architects that I could reach to do a congress, a lecture in my home country. So that adventure, it was super excited because I didn't have money to afford anything of that. I didn't have all the contacts. Like I didn't know anyone, and it was only my enthusiasm and a good team of students that that cheers me to do it. And I was like, okay, I will take this challenge. So for 6 months, I planned an event that let's call it an impossible event to convince the best architect of the world and come to Honduras. And it was funny because I get super into deep of this project, and I contact all the architects that you can imagine of the world. I'm talking about Norman Foster. I'm talking about Daniel Livinsky. I'm talking about Renzo Piano, Coop Himmelblau, Daniel Wolf Briggs, Patrick Schumacher, Chris Boss, etc., etc. So I contact all the architects that I know at that time. It was one of the best, and it was super cool because they were super kind with me. A lot of them didn't respond, but a lot of them did respond, and they give me a lot of enthusiasm. And I think that it was because my letter that I sent to them, it was a very personal letter. It's not just the typical letter that you receive into very formal way. It was like a guy that is a dreamer, that is full of goals, that would like to share this passion to the students. So long story short, I did the event. At the end, I had Daniel Livinsky, Wolf Briggs, Chris Boss and a local architect that is called Gerardo Lopez in my lecture. So that event was super, super good. It was an experience for all the students in all Honduras. Even get the money to sponsor that event was crazy. Give me a lot of experience of how you can pull an event without money, and it was very, very good. And at the time, I met Chris Boss, that now is my boss. Is the principal architect of Lava Laboratory for Visionary Architects from Sydney, and he saw in me a lot of passion in a young guy that basically believed that architecture can change the world, and he saw a lot of potential in me. And I was super blessed to his invitation to work with him.
Yeah, that's crazy how many contacts such an event can generate in this way. And basically, it's funny to me because now that I don't know how's the situation in Honduras, but here in Germany and most of Europe and the US, still there is some sort of lockdown or some sort of limitation of social distancing. And the podcasts are like the so to say a conference. Like it's something very similar. It's something like a conversation which can be focused on a topic, and this is your way to attend some sort of event. So, and I can imagine that doing this event once created for you such a big way, like net of connections, because you contacted many important people. And doing a podcast, for example, it's the same thing, just on a weekly base. And I'm curious, but how did you find did you write an email or real letter to the different offices, or and did you address it directly to the architects, or try to contact, because usually those big names, they have some sort of assistant that PR that manage their appearances?
Man, it was an adventure. Maybe you said I did all, but one of the keys was that I find a lot of empathy from Daniel Levinsky, and from Daniel Levinsky, he gave me a lot of contacts, to be honest, to a direct way. For Chris, is like basically I find his email. I think that one old friend he told me like, hey, I know that you're doing this event, and I have this email from Chris. You should try. I don't think that he's gonna accept, but you should try. And I remember it was 2 a.m. in Honduras. I was like a crazy guy writing emails, and it take me like basically 3 minutes. Like I write the email, I send it to Chris, and Chris only responds like, "Hey, cool, that would be cool. That sounds great. Yes, I accept." And that's all. Like that was the whole email, and it was like, wow, this is real. Did he really accept, or I'm just dreaming?
This is why when I send you the invitation 2 days ago, you schedule our talk today, because you learn from your boss, man. For the people who don't know a little bit of backstage, all the guests get an invitation, and they have a link where they can decide when to do the interview or when to do the talk. I don't like to call it interview. It's more like a talk, because it's more chit chat. And I sent you the invitation really like 2 days ago, and we're doing it right now. So it was, but I like to say that you're also a very. I grew up in Italy, and I have this sort of still Latin sort of culture, and I can see that you also in Honduras, and I know a lot of Central Americans, South Americans. You're more like flexible people, and can Can
Man, man, I saw your invitation. It was for you was today. For me, it was only one day. I saw your invitation and I was like, okay, can I do it now? Like, no, I can't. So let's do it tomorrow.
Yeah, well, this is generally. I don't. But did the guests, architects that you invited, did they came physically to Honduras or they were connected?
That was a good question. Only Chris and Gerardo come physically. Daniel Levinsky, unfortunately, he didn't attend because we try, and he was like super sad because of that, because everything was like ready to come. He was like ready to come to Honduras, and he get in a lot of events that he was required to attend, like his book. He was like in the launch of his book, and he was really have to attend in a place physically. So he didn't come. He would do it virtually, and Wolf Bricks also do it virtually, and also even Renzo Piano. He was he accepted the invitation, but it was like 1 month near to the event. He had to reject for some troubles, you know. But yeah, only Chris and Gerardo attend, and the other one was virtually. But it was great, you know. I was super nervous for the internet connection because it doesn't care if your country are you, but you always fail in one way or another. And actually, Daniel Levinsky told me like, Max, I will do this, and this is going to be my only the first and the only one that I'm gonna do in my life in terms of doing a virtual lecture, because he didn't do that, and I was like, man, that was a great honor. Because he did. I don't know why, but he don't do those kind of stuff in a virtual way.
Yeah, well, I think that a lot of a lot of architects are still a little bit skeptical, and also it's different to have the it's still different to have the in-person presence. But what I think we were talking about technology. For me, the most amazing thing about this technology is not only what it can do, but it's also that creates gives more opportunities to a larger amount of people. Because if I had to have you here over live in my home and do the podcast live, I would need to fly you. You need to travel 2 days. It requires a lot of money, and like this we can do just the chat. And when my podcast booms and I'm gonna have a lot of money, I'm gonna fly you over. But it gives you the opportunity to talk with people from everywhere, and it's also like very, very comfortable, because you don't have to you're just sitting wherever you are and we can talk. So I think this is the nicest part of the technology that allows you to do these things now. And but you had over some like you said, Chris Foss were one of the guys who attended personally, and is there where you got to know each other and he approached you for collaboration, or how did that happen?
Yes, he came, and basically at that time we just spent the time, fun time together. Like we travel, I bring him with me to know more about Honduras, the cool stuff that you can find in Honduras, and he gets excited about Honduras. And by that time, we just say bye, and then with the time after that. Okay, I will resume that what happened next, because he's very interested. Like basically, he come back from because he lives in Sydney, and he come back from Honduras through Europe, because also he's German. He's from Germany, and he went to see his parents in Germany, but he come first to London, and he has a lot of architects friends, and he went to visit Patrick Schumacher, the principal of Zaha Hadid Architects.
The Rona, man. See, that's good that we're not together.
Oh, sorry.
Don't worry.
Oh, I'm sorry, man.
Sometimes happens.
So yes, I was talking about when he went to visit Patrick Schumacher. Basically, he told Patrick like, "Hey, I come from Honduras, and I think that Honduras is a cool country." And he talked about me. He talked about his experience, and Patrick told him like, "Hey, man, I have a project in Honduras." And maybe Georgi, you are not used to feel this kind of experience, but I don't think we have a project in Central America of Zaha Hadid that was super cool. And in a country like Honduras, it was like, wow, Zaha Hadid has a project in Honduras. And Chris like write me and he told me like, hey Max, did you know that Zaha Hadid has a project in Honduras? And I was like, wow, I didn't know that. And later of that time, he come back to Sydney and we continued chatting. And through it happened a lot of time. And I remember that one day Chris make a chat in Facebook with me and Patrick, and he write like, "Hey Patrick, this is Max, the guy that I'm talking about, and he would like he would like that you can go to his university to do a lecture." And at that time I was president of the Association of Architecture from Honduras. And I was like super excited that Patrick Schumacher can come to Honduras. And it gets like some days to Patrick to respond. But basically, he was super kind with me. Sometimes Patrick seems like his expressions feels like he's a tough guy, but he's super, super nice. Super, super nice guy. And he replied me and he told me like, hey, Max, I would like to go. Actually, I had planned to go to Guatemala, and I would go to Honduras, and I will do the lecture. And it happened. He come a few months later, and he come to Honduras to do the lecture for all the architecture students. And I met Patrick at the time, and at that time too, I met Eric, that is my other boss, because for the one that you don't know, I work for two enterprises. I work for LAVA. There is Laboratory for Visionary Architecture. They basically is a studio of architecture. It's an international studio. And I work for Prospera. That is an international company that make alliance with governments to catalyze prosperity through platforms that is attached to the special economic zones. So that was the project that Patrick was doing, the Prospera project. And I met Eric at the time, and again, connection, man, good vibes, a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of passion. Those two events give me two jobs.
But another thing that I'm wondering right now is that, of course, the events got you the connections, but I'm sure that you must have and have had and still have some, qualities to, cover the requirements of the job. Because for the people who don't know, Lava Architects Laboratory for Visionary Architecture does these crazy projects, which are, I'm gonna say they're like on the same level or style or so to say spirit of the this parametric architecture, very similar in the spirit of Zaha Hadid and all, this crazy shaped futuristic architecture. And I'm going back to something that you said before, that in Honduras and Central America you don't maybe work so much on challenging yourself in using new technologies and in terms of software and building technology. What kind of skills did you develop during university to be able to join these offices? What kind of softwares did you learn? What kind of yeah, what was your workflow that made you get the job?
Yes. To be honest, like I told you, what the most important things that my recommendation will be to any student is develop your soft skills, because at the end, what are you as a person is the most important thing that you can have. That's the most important thing that you can bring to any enterprise. So at that time, I was like, I had a lot of skills in my personal life, and and I had to put me in the same level. So Chris was like, because for example in Lava we used a lot of parametric programs, and that I didn't know at the time. So again, technology gives you that opportunity to learn all these kind of things in YouTube, for example. So I get to study and try to upgrade my skills to the next level, and also my friends in Lava, they're always are open to help out those persons that don't know the skills in terms of the programs, and they help you out. Even I know that in Saha they do the same thing also, that if you don't know something, they teach you basically, and it was cool. But yeah, for sure, I have to put me in the same level to at least uh, have the enough skills to design something like Lava. And you are right, Lava tried to come with this great technology and do very organic designs to be in the same level with Saha and Norman Foster, Calatrava, and those guys.
But what kind of things did you need to learn exactly? Like Grasshopper, or what kind of software do you use at Lava?
Yes, especially Reno, I think, because Grasshopper is like a plugin, let's call it like that, of Reno. And in the office, we use Rhino and AutoCAD, Revit. And at that time, I learned Revit and AutoCAD in the school. Also, I another program like SketchUp, I use it for my school, but I have to learn Rhino and a little bit of Grasshopper for integrate this.
Yeah, okay, I see. And but how is this thing working with Lava? Because I from what I understood, you're sort of the representative of Lava architects in Honduras. So are you the only one working for Lava in Honduras, or are you a small team? How does that work generally?
Yes, so Lava is an international company because there is three founders that is called Chris Voss, Tobias, and Alexander. Those guys are from Germany, and basically we have office in Stuttgart, Berlin, Sydney, and also in Vietnam. And one of the ideas of Chris to have me here is like open a business here in Honduras. So I manage Lava Honduras. There is this new office with young people, with local people, and again, it's a great opportunity to empower uh, your people to get to the next level in architecture. In my dream, with this enterprise, is basically give shape to the future to Honduras, because I see a lot of opportunity to improve the design and the architecture of all America, and especially in Honduras.
I'm curious, how is the job market for architects in Honduras? Is it very hard to find a job general for an architect, or is it quite normal and easy to find one?
I think that everything is related to how the economic aspect you can find it. It's hard. I will be honest. It's super hard to find a job as an architect. You have to be really really good, and otherwise you do your effort and try to do entrepreneur. But yeah, it's super super difficult. And I think it's related to this economic aspect. So again, I was super blessed and lucky. That's why I'm super grateful.
Well, I don't think that you're only lucky and blessed. My grandma says you have to work for your luck, and so you probably work to get yourself in a position to organize the events that you organize, and then you were smart enough to create a connection. So it's not only luck. I think it's this luck is part of it, but you have to create these opportunities and then try to take them as they come. But also, I'm curious about this guy, Chris Voss and Lava. Like, I mean, I'm thinking if I had an office I moved from Italy to Germany, and maybe starting an office here, it's already complicated because I'm not like German, and I'm not very familiar with all the aspects of making a company and so on. How does this guy comes with the idea to open an office in Vietnam? And then now in Honduras and in Sydney. Well, in Sydney it's maybe easier because it's still English international. But is there a clear philosophy behind why those like? I hope I don't sound bad, but like for example, people in Germany, not a lot of people are thinking I'm gonna open an office in Honduras. So
Yes, yes, for sure, and I am agree with you. It was like a whole experience, and a whole doubt if this is gonna work. By the end, I saw Chris with a lot of enthusiasm and passion about adventures. So he see this opportunity like a good opportunity to open and expand his business, and I was like, because here in Honduras, it's even difficult to open a normal architect studio, and open an international one is a great challenge. But I see this like an opportunity, and all the challenge you can find opportunities to upgrade your skills in all the sense, and this is all related to Prospera in one way or another, because Prospera, what we do in Prospera is basically we are creating this platform that to create hubs of opportunities. This means that we are currently in Roatan, that basically is an island that is in Honduras, but it's an island all surrounded by sea. And with Prospera, we are doing a project that is like creating a semi-autonomous special economic zone into Roatan, and into this zone you can find a lot of new advanced technology that you can allow you to make enterprises, and in a very easy, in a very fast way. This is all related to try to improve all the governance that you can find in the world. And one of our goals is like make all these issues about corruption, all these issues about bureaucracy, and all these kind of things, like cut it down from the beginning, and don't allow to enter all these kind of things into Prospera. Because at the end, governance is a big issue that you can find in the whole the world, because is the reason that basically my country is in troubles about the corruption, those kind of things. So we in Prospera, we are trying to change all those aspects, even in the entrepreneur side. And so in Prospera, you can open an office super easily, and you will pay less taxes. You will do it in one day, and you can do it virtually, and it's a very cool concept. And I can spend days about talking about this, but in resume, it was super easy to do it, and it was good for an adventure.
But we have time to talk about Prospera, and I think I want to focus now the conversation on this project and this whole idea that you're working on. Because for me, I've tried to educate a little bit myself about it and to figure out more about it, because I saw that you work for Prospera Honduras. So I want to, we can go a little bit step by step so that I can understand and also the people who are listening can understand exactly how this thing works. So is this Prospera an organization or a company? And it's in the same time this island that you're working on now in Honduras, is it called Prospera, like the new location, and it's sort of a independent piece of Honduras? Because it's a little confusing. It's like how this thing work. I'm just curious.
Of course, of course. Well, basically, what is Prospera is an enterprise, an international enterprise. So basically, it's an enterprise that makes alliances with governments to catalyze prosperity. How? Creating platforms, governance platforms that give you through the special economic zones. These special economic zones is like Dubai, Singapore, Hong Kong. This that you can find in the same territory a subdivision that basically is like it's like a new a state, not another country. It's just a subdivision of a state, and then you can have a special rules into that territory. And it's the same in Honduras. Like the Prospera make alliance with the government of Honduras to create these special economic zones into the territory. So
But
yes, I'm located into Roatan, that is in Honduras. That I'm located in Prospera, that is into Roatan, that is into Honduras.
But let's say I'm Prospera and I go to the government of Honduras and I say, hello, I'm this international enterprise. I want to create a special zone where we can enable prosperity. First of all, to me, if I were the government of Honduras, it would sound like, guys, you're doing a shitty job. Give us a piece of land so we can teach you how. So I'm wondering, what do Prospera gives to the like when you do an agreement, an alliance, like Prospera is getting clearly some piece of land or whatever. What is the government of Honduras having back?
Yes, it's a good question. At the end, is like work together, but I don't think that is it's like a fault of the government of Honduras have these, let's call it, inconsistencies. Um, but it's a thing that is happening in all the world. A lot of we just saw the opportunity to partner with one government that allows the opportunity to create this kind of zones and try to bring jobs to Honduran people and try to create opportunities for them. And the government of Honduras was very interested in this. Like you say, these guys that leave the country and go to the United States to get opportunities. Probably I will be that guy. Max, probably if Prospera didn't exist, I will be in the United States trying to find a job or something like that. I will have to escape for a lot of corruption and a lot of inconsistency you can find in Honduras. And so the government of Honduras was interested in create those economic zones that it can allow to the people have local governments and have different opportunity and increase the quality of life. Like it happened already in Dubai, it happened already in Shenzhen, in China, it happened in Hong Kong, it happened in Singapore, and was a great example how you can unleash prosperity to an special region, and especially some region that are not used to have a lot of economic into Honduras. For example, in Roatan is a beautiful island into the Caribbean, and this island you can see a lot of tourism, but you don't find a lot of other stuff that tourism, because this is the special economic activity. And with Prospera, we are trying to bring orange economy industries to come to work here. So like this is like reconcept the whole economy and of the place, and you bring it all this international enterprise to hire Hondurans, young guys like me that don't have the opportunities in the current country, and they find it in Prospera and to have a well-paid job, a better quality of life, have a lot of fun in that beautiful island, and having a good time here in this new experience.
But I'm wondering, when you create these special economic zones, let's say this, let's take the island that you're mentioning. Is Honduras let's say, leaving their sovereign of this land to Prospera, or are still the taxes, for example, that the people in that zone pay going to Honduras? Because it seems to me still, something like, I don't think that nobody gives you something for nothing. And also, for example, Hong Kong, it was free for, I don't like free, independent, so to say, for many years, and now China, it's taking it back, and I'm like thinking, are like these zones, for example, on a concession to Prospera for, I don't know, 30, 40 years, and then they go back and whatever was developed go to Honduras, or because to me it sounds like still no a part of, in a place like Honduras, I can see also that the government maybe says, okay, we haven't managed at all to keep our people here, and we're gonna live without people, so we need to create something and just let someone else get in charge and create something for the people. But for example, in other part of the world like Dubai and the whole Emirates, that's not the case. People there are extremely rich. So
Yes.
yeah, I'm curious how this whole zones work, because let's say tomorrow I become part of Prospera and I want to make a Prospera zone in Frankfurt. I should go to the government of Germany and say, guys, give me this city, and they will be like, why? So I'm trying to understand, because I don't know exactly how it works.
Yes, basically what the government give to the government didn't give you the land. They didn't say, hey, take this land and develop. It's not like that. It's more like we came to an enterprise, and we basically buy in a legal way the terrains of individuals with the whole procedure, and basically you register that land into the economic zones. And for that, it's super tough, man. You need to pass for a lot of very high standards to incorporate that into the special economic zone. So we pass all the standards, and we get to bring this land, register into the economic zone, and then try to get developers, enterprise, and that come to here to create these hubs.
But is this special zone regulated on international level, that it needs to be recognized from the other countries too? Like, where do you register this special zone? Just in Honduras, or there is some international organization, or I don't know, because
yes, for you're talking about Prospera, right?
Yes.
For now, this is Honduras is the first and the first project that we are doing. Hopefully, like basically, this is a governance platform, and we can do this in all the world. But we need to demonstrate this effort and this new idea in Honduras, and try to establish in a good way with great successful into this country. And there is a very tough country to invest. And if we do it right, we're gonna expand, and hopefully we can have multiple Prospera into the world. Like, this is my dream one day.
And No, but I'm wondering. I'm trying to understand it better because if it Prospera is, it's first of all calling the company and the places Prospera sounds a little dystopic. Sounds like the new world. But if this is the better way of governance, then I hope that not we have more Prospera, but that the whole world is prosperous someday. But like if I'm on the other side, let's say I'm an entrepreneur that wants to open a factory or an industry on the land that you now have gathered, um, and I open it and I start working. Do I still pay taxes to Honduras, or do I pay taxes to Prospera, or just
Yes,
what is the
that's a good
advantage
question.
to go through
Um,
Prospera?
to Prospera, and the taxes are super low, to super, let's call it fair, and compared to Honduras. For right now, if you would like to do business in Honduras, we do a study, and Honduras is in 129th position in the world to do business. And we compare the platform of Prospera, and Prospera is located in the number 9 of the world. So basically, the improvement is huge. So is in the top 10 to do business in all the world, the platform. So basically, if you're an entrepreneur, if you like to open a business or whatever into Prospera, it's easy to do it. It's the taxes are very low, like these areas like Dubai and those kind of places, and the jurisdiction and the security in all the sense are in a better quality. In all the sense, like in Honduras, it's very hard to have security, and in the economic aspect, security in a personal way, and we are trying to improve all those kind of things in Prospera to put it in the next level.
Do you have your own police?
Yes, you have your own police.
And how do you like where else is, because it's these Prospera places, these special economic zones as you call them, sounds to me like offshore zones somehow, which in the rest of the world is not seen as a very positive thing because and entrepreneurs, I don't know if you're aware, with recently a couple of years ago we had the Panama Papers that lots of rich people from all over the world were registered with some accounts in Panama just to avoid taxes and stuff like that. That's why I ask you if this Prospera territory or land or whatever it can be defined needs to be recognized also on international level from the other countries, and also who started the project and how it's getting financed, because of course you need a lot of starting money, like to buy this land.
Yes, I know it's a very hard concept at the beginning, but no, we are not a country. Definitely, we are in Honduras, like it's the same country of Honduras, and it's just an economic zone into Honduras. It's just an special jurisdiction. What give you the opportunity to be and be in the same level to compete with all these countries is that the jurisdiction is semi-autonomous. It's not fully independent. It's just semi-autonomous. So we are still attached to the Honduran law. We have special laws, but definitely we are under the Honduran law, and we have some security for the investor, security in integral way, and we have a lot of improvements of the jurisdiction and all those kind of things. So the idea of this started by Eric Bremen. He's a great guy, the one that I met in the event, and he's a great guy, man. If you know him, he's like one of the most passionate guys that you can ever find in your life, and he's like those kind of men that you met once and you say, hey, this man can change the world. And he's a guy who dreams. He comes from Venezuela. Venezuela is a country in Latin America that is having huge problems in government. Like If you think that the people are running away from Honduras, you don't will believe how is the statistics in Venezuela. Like millions of people run away every year from Venezuela because Venezuela is collapsing as a country. And Eric is from Venezuela, and he grew up in this environment that he saw a lot of opportunities to improve into the world. And then he go to the United States and study, and he left the country, and with a lot a world top class team, he came with this idea to basically change the playground in how the governance is established in the world. So Prospera is an enterprise, international enterprise, and it's running by Eric.
And is there like the official website of the project you're part of is prospera.hn, which is the Honduras version. Is there a website that's complete, like on the international level of the platform? Or
currently, like Prospera Honduras is like our only project. We only have that one, but yeah, in the past we have a lot of improvements. Like we are fully like getting to this project of Honduras, and later we're gonna see the opportunities to expand. But currently, that's the only web page that we have, prospera.hn, and we have social media also.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very interesting platform, and I see that you have already made some projects. That how does it work? This project will be built, or this project are being generated, and then now you're waiting for those investors to come and then realize, I don't know, I imagine it's subdivided in some zones or single buildings. I don't know how it works. So
for sure, we have a project with Zaha Hadid that is a housing project. That basically this project is it's super cool because it's getting the artificial intelligence into the game to architecture. So it's very cool, and we are doing a lot of planning for the future. For example, we are thinking have in Prospera Rotan, we're thinking have universities, hospitals, a whole campus for pioneers, and that Lava and I personally is designing. And this is like my role into this company. This is the gap that I'm doing here, because I am doing all design of this master plan and all the vision of some buildings for the next steps of Prospera. But right now, we have only built some residences and some one building that is called the Beta building, that is basically the first building that actually get built into Prospera to prove and demonstrate the platform is working basically, and how is the architecture here in Roatan, how difficult is built here in Roatan, and all the topics. We test a lot of topics, and currently it's like the headquarters of Prospera. So we are working in this building. Actually, I am in the building right now, and this is cool, Georgi. This is probably one of the things that a lot of people have dreamed in the world, like having this jurisdiction and how you can improve the governance topic. And we are one of the platform that we made it. And Prospera is a company that is invested by a lot of individuals that believe in this idea. It's a capital risk company, and basically this is how Prospera work. The idea is that a lot of industries and a lot of developers can come here and invest in this land, because if you make a city, you saw some example in China that probably it doesn't make sense make 1,000 of buildings and pretend that the people gonna run and occupy them, and we are not doing that. Like that's the key word. We are doing platforms, and those platforms are for all the people that is interested come and join us in this adventure in a voluntary way and invest and for all the listeners are like interested in this idea, are welcome to research more information, contact us, and we'll give you more explanation of this concept because I know that it can be very hard at the beginning, but it's a wonderful idea and it is a wonderful project that I'm very passionate to be part of.
I think I'm starting to getting it a little bit, and I'm gonna explain you how I'm getting it so far, so that you can say if I'm correct. So I understand that the platform you're talking about is that Prospera basically does all the paperwork in advance with Honduras and setting up, so to say, fertilizing the environment, so to say, setting up all this background that allows then to create these master plans and this project. But instead of building the master plan, you just generate the master plan and then you wait for some organic, so to say, growth, so that investors come one after the other and says, yeah, I'm very happy with the conditions that you're offering me, and I'm gonna try to build this building and do this activity, and they're gonna benefit for the conditions that you have created. If I'm correct, did I understood it pretty much well?
Yes, it's something like that. You resume very well. and we're gonna develop some projects like the Sahadid project, for example. We are developing that, but the idea is not to be a developer. The idea is that a lot of industry can come and invest, and we serve as a platform this into the jurisdiction, all these platform that give you the possibility to do that, and that's the reason that we are all super open to get investors that are in a very regular and in a legal way, that they can demonstrate that they are good people and they are doing in the nice spot the things and invest with us. So we're super happy to come a lot of investment into Honduras and upgrade this socioeconomic level that you can find in Honduras.
What kind of freedom, or so to say, or influence can an investor have on the master plan? Because let's say I don't know exactly the whole details of the master plan, but you said that they involve different functions like, I guess, office building, industries, hotels, housing, everything that you have within, let's say, city compound. So if I am a big investor, and I want to build an office building that it's in your master plan, looks like a block, can I say, okay, I want to do this building, but I want to do it in a different way? Do I have this power to change these things, or what can I change or influence?
Yes, that's a good question. Actually, it's sort of the two ways. For example, we have the possibility that investors say, hey, I bring my own design, I bring my own building, and I just want this part of done, and I would like to invest this kind of business. That's okay. You can do it, and you are open to do it as whatever you want, and at least that you accomplish all the requirements. And you have the other way that basically is like that lava is involved. That we do the master plan, we give like shapes, these organic shapes in cool buildings and this new cool architecture into the master plan, and we can offer this to different developers. We can say, hey, I designed this building. It's a cool building. Let's pretend apartment building. We are designing this apartment building, and we have this opportunity. Would you like to invest? And the developer will say, hey, that's cool. You already have everything in the plate and all the numbers, and that's cool. I would like to invest. So in that way, you make the life easier to the investor and say, hey, we have everything. But you have the two possibilities.
And I'm wondering, do you have also like set up a plan about how to develop the different functions? Because I guess that if they arrive only investors that say I want to build apartments, but there are not yet, I don't know, offices or factories where people are actually doing something to inhabit then the housing. Do you have like, okay, now we have reached the limit of housing, we accept only different kind of investments?
Yes, actually, is a combination of efforts. Right now, like what we are doing is trying to bring orange economy enterprises. So basically, is these enterprises that, for example, let's put an example, Amazon. You bring Amazon, and Amazon says, "Hey, I would like to hire 100 people for my operation in Amazon." So in that way, Amazon put an office here, and or put a building here, and we help them. We help Amazon to bring all these 100 people and employees to get through this program of Prospera Employment Solutions, and we make the life easier for Amazon. So right now, because we are thinking of putting one for industry, a special economic zone. For example, we have the one in another place in Honduras that it will be more focusing in the industrial part for manufacturing things and those kind of things. For this hub, we are like trying to bring international companies that is like orange economy in a certain way that you can do remotely, and you can do jobs that are well paid. And this is focused for the young people like me that is fully of dreams, that Hondurans that don't want to leave the country to have successful, and we're bringing creating an environment for this kind of type of individuals.
And now the opposite question would be, if I'm someone small like me that doesn't have that big amount of money, do I have opportunity to somehow profit from this platform?
Of course, and it's designed to be the whole aspect. It's not only for the rich people. It's the whole aspect of entrepreneurs. The platform is designed to be better governance in all the sense. So one of the things that we saw in Honduras is that the different entities that conform the governance in Honduras are killing the entrepreneurs, and in the sense that the taxes are super expensive, that are ridiculous high, and a lot of things that is related to this topic are stopping all the entrepreneurs getting to the next level in his life. And Prospera trying to improve all those kind of things, even for the small enterprise. For example, in the Better Building, what we are doing right now is that we have some office, like a co-work space, that if you are a small company, if you like for example, let's go Lava said, hey, I would like to have a small company right now. It's like, let's say 3 guys, and I don't want to build a huge building, and I don't have the money to build a huge building and say, hey, I would like to invest. So we give that opportunity. So you just rent an office, and you are under the jurisdiction into this shared office that you can find in the Better Building. So it's the full aspect.
Yeah, I think it's a very interesting project that you're trying to do there. I'm gonna for sure follow, because it's the first platform you said in the world. For how long has this platform have the platform started? And yeah.
We are pretty new, to be honest. This is an idea that has been a lot of time working on this idea and this concept. It doesn't work one day or another. It's like takes a lot of time to pull together everything. But the official launch was last year into the pandemic, actually in May. So it's a tough time to bring a concept like this, but the things are getting better, and we are super new. That's the reason that we only have one building right now, but we are new, but super excited to looking forward to do the next step. Hopefully, it can grow with the time.
But is this the sorry? Can you repeat again the name of the founder? I think you mentioned Eric, right?
Yeah, Eric Bremen. He is the CEO of Prospera.
And yeah, what?
And also, you can find a lot of related articles in different sites of Prospera. I saw that in an international way is receiving very well the idea, and I'm very proud of that. That a lot of international magazines and a lot of, especially the architecture magazine, the economic magazines, are very interested in this topic. And they talk a lot of Prospera. Hopefully one day we get so famous that even Elon Musk can say, "Hey, Prospera is great." But we are humble right now, and we try to go step by step this cool project.
The moment he says that, I'll be like, Elon, I knew about Prospera way before you, so come over in the podcast so we can have a chat.
So hopefully you can tell him like, hey, Elon, talk about Prospera.
or maybe he'll learn through this podcast. Who knows? You never know. You never know who's listening. I was checking in the middle, like a little bit of the website, so I'm gonna for sure put the links so that people can go on the website and educate themselves on the project and discover more, because I think the concept behind it's interesting, and I'm very curious to see how it's gonna further develop. I was curious, the founder Eric, what was his background? Is he also an architect, or is he an investment guy? Yeah.
Eric studied entrepreneurship in the US, and basically is a businessman. But what I'm surprised with Eric, that he knows about all the topics. He's super smart, man. He when you as an architect know that sometimes you get talk with a client, and maybe the client doesn't know too much about architecture, and you trying to explain him in a very detailed way, in a very easy way that he can stand. Eric is the other way. He knows a lot of architecture. I'm super surprised that sometimes he even teach me tough things in architecture. And I was like, wow, you're an architect, Eric? You didn't tell me. But he is a guy that he get into a lot of topics, and that's very good. I think that one of his skills is that he knows a lot of topics, and yeah. But currently he is an entrepreneur. He's a businessman.
I just said that in the website of Prospera, there is also, or Prospera, there is also a part which is called careers. I'm curious, is Prospera currently also looking for other architects, or the architects team is completely fulfilled right now?
What we have there, man, is that basically, like, our goal, and we can get into a philosophical topic that it can be hours about what prosperity means. But at the end, if we are very, very consistent, we define it in one word, is in a real way, is like getting jobs to people. That's the only way that you can get prosperity, with well-paid jobs. And what we are doing in Prospera is that we are bringing all these international enterprise, to come here, to open an office, and hire the people that we have in our talent network. For example, we have a lot of careers that basically that you can do remotely from here, and that you can do very well, that you find in Honduras. And in Honduras, we have a very interesting thing, that a lot of people are bilingual. They both speak Spanish and English, and they allows you the opportunity to expand your product let's call it like that, of to the whole international world. So we have very talented people, and we try to have a lot of networks of a lot of industries, and to work with Prospera or an industry that is invest in Prospera.
I see. And how much time does the two? So because you're officially employed at Lava and also at Prospera, in terms of time, are you a guy that works like Elon Musk 100 hours a week, or you work normal hours 50-50? How do you subdivide your tasks during the week?
Man, I will be honest. I'm a guy who is very hungry for have successful in the life, and I don't care. Like in Lava, for example, I slept sometimes at 2 a.m. in the morning, like basically because we are like we start the conversation saying that you are in Germany, for you is the night, and for me is the day. And imagine Vietnam or imagine Sydney. It's worst. Like literally day night are my day, literally. So sometimes I get sleep super late, and I wake up super early to have video chats with the team, and I work. I think that I work hard, but more than that, I work smart. I try to accomplish my goals in a very smart way, so I don't lose too much time doing some task. And both are very flexible with me, so they allow me the opportunity to work for them. Like it's not like I'm hiding that I work for Lava and for Prospera. It's like they know each other. Eric and Chris are they know each other and are good friends, and are in the same philosophy of life, and they know each other that basically I work for them, and both are very flexible. And currently I work all day and part of the night. That's my workflow.
And do you have the weekends completely off, or you need to work sometimes on the weekends too?
Especially Sundays, because Sundays is Monday for Sydney and Vietnam. So yeah, but I get the right balance. At the end, is that you only have time. It's, for example, you have your work and you have this podcast, and sometimes you say, hey, there is a lot of I don't have the time to do those kind of stuff. But you know at the end that you have the time. You just need to be very smart on how you put the weights and the pieces in the correct way to make the time. My philosophy is that I try to enjoy the life as much as I can, because even me, I have a podcast too, and I know how difficult it can be in not only record a session, is the whole process of get the invitation, get the approval, and chat with the guy, and do the research, do the chatting, the editing, they put in the right networks, do a little bit of marketing to put it into the networks and those kind of things. So I'm just trying to be very balanced in my life. I try to enjoy all the days of my life, like all the days of my life. I try to enjoy it like it's the last day of my life. I try to be very grateful, very happy, trying to work very hard for all the people that it can to improve a lot of the people. And I try to love, because at the end, love is the most important thing that you can do in your life. And that's I think that the main reason that we are alive, our design, the design of the humanity is love. And I try to love all the sense, all the ways, and all the time.
Yeah, and I from what we have said so far, I think that I come usually like my origin is from Bulgaria, which is it's the poorest country of the European Union, which it sounds. It's not the poorest country in the world, but it's still the last in the European Union. And I think that people, and then I moved to Italy and now to Germany, which is maybe the richest country of the European Union. And I think that in regions like Honduras, people which have a lot of adversity in their life because of the environment and because of the governance, as you said. I think that once they're given the opportunity to work and achieve results like you are, I think you guys are way more, motivated because you have experienced the hardship of life, like the uncertainty, the impossibility to, even if you work hard, sometimes do not get the recognition. And I think that's why guys like you don't say, oh my God, it's Sunday, I'm not gonna work, I'm just gonna chill, because you have now in your situation, you have the chance to be like, I want to work, man, because now I got the chance to do it and it makes sense. And I think that in the richest countries, this prosperity in the richest countries is through generation now established. So some young people are like, I don't feel like doing this stuff because why should I do it? When I can just chill. So I think this is something that's some characteristic of people who come from some adversity in life. But you also mentioned you have a podcast. So I know that your podcast, you can say what is the name of your podcast, and I know there is a Spanish and an English version of it.
Yes, it's called Epicenter Podcast. You can find it in YouTube, Spotify, and all the platforms that you can hear podcasts, basically. And it's a bilingual. What we try to do is like, because I talk Spanish, and I try to invite a lot of Spanish guests. And what we do is like we put the subtitles in all the episodes. It's a huge work, to be honest. It's like imagine subtitle 1 hour episode all the time, and in both languages. So we try to do it like that, so we can be integrated with the two aspects. So we invite people that talk in English and talk in Spanish.
Interesting. I'm gonna put links in the episode description or notes or whatever it's called, so that people that are listening to the Creative Insider maybe will go and check out this other podcast. Because I guess what is the podcast about? What kind of people you have over?
It's cool, because we in the podcast we talk about people that is doing something to change the world. So we invite different people for different topics about talking about how the prosperity exists, and they talk about their histories, and they talk about what they are doing to change the things, and what they're doing in cool projects and things like that. And it's a very cool podcast, because it's what you was hearing, because at the beginning it was like a little experiment to see what's happening, and at the end if I see the stats of the podcast, and I see that people from all the world are listening, and I was like, wow, a guy from Austria is listening. Like a guy from Singapore, what is this? Like even guy from Germany listening to the podcast, and that was super cool for me. That see that my effort of having this invitation of people and telling stories about their life and about their perspective of the life, and the people in the world is listening. And I don't care if only one guy or 100 guy or 1,000 guys listening. At the end, it's a very good experience, even for me, having this conversation, like for you, meet you, your personality, your perspective, how you think the things, and it's a great experiment, even for me, in this part of the world, having this experience with people that is from all over the world through technology, having this deeply conversation about life.
Yeah, I think it's cool to have people from different countries, because you start, not only like I have this international background, so I don't I like a lot of international conversation, and I I want to show also through my podcast that through talking to people from like you're from Honduras, you're the first guest from Honduras. I've had people from Iran, from the United States, from Syria, from Bulgaria, from almost everywhere, from New Zealand, and yeah, I'm having cool conversation with all these different people from different cultures, and this is a proof that we're all like human, and I divide people in two kind of people. Cool people and assholes. So you can be an asshole. You can be an asshole no matter where you're from, and you can be a cool person no matter where you're from or what kind of background you have. So I think this is very important.
For sure. You can be cool or an asshole.
Yeah, this is my motto. Like I really don't care if you're like Muslim, Asian, black, white. I mean, I know people from everywhere, and myself, I have experienced the life of being an immigrant, of being in my home country, and I know both. So I don't judge people. I know that there are people that are cool and that are jerks, no matter what. So, and I think that there are a lot of talented people from everywhere, even in the places that we expect the less, but not because something else, because we don't know these places. And I think it's very important to have people like you from places like Honduras, where people don't like, at least people in my surroundings, I suppose they don't know so much about. So I think it's interesting to exchange.
Yes, definitely.
Well, Max, I think we covered most of your activities and of your background. I always tell to my guests that this is the first time you were on the podcast, but it doesn't have to be the last one. So whenever there are some news about Prospera or some project or some news you want to share with the audience of the Creative Insider, you're always welcome to come back. Thank you very much for participating. One last opportunity for you. You can shout out where people can find more about you online.
Sure, thank you. No, Georgi, thank you for this opportunity to have this conversation with you, and it was very cool to talk about those kind of things and do this recap about my life. Yeah, you can find me at Max Medina F in Instagram, and basically Max Medina in all the social platforms. And also the Epicenter Podcast in the other platforms if you are interested in listening to this guy talking and having these different people. But yeah, it was a pleasure, Georgi. It's a great experience to meet you, and hopefully we can stay connected and hopefully work one day together do something cool.
For sure, man, for sure. So thank you very much, and I wish you a cool day in Honduras. Bye-bye.
The whole
Bye-bye.
world stops just like that.
Hey friends, thank you very much for listening to this podcast. You've been amazing. Before we go, I just want to remind you that if you want to support us, you can just go on the creativeinsider.com, where you can subscribe to our monthly newsletter, or you can follow us on our social media channels, which are Instagram at TCI Podcast,
Just like that.
or the LinkedIn page, The Creative Insider. By doing this, you will have a bigger social media presence, which always looks attractive to more and more important guests. And so this is very fundamental. And if you really love what we do and you want to help us doing a better production, just click on the Patreon link below, where you can support us with the wished amount of money you think it's okay for you. It's a monthly subscription, but you can cancel anytime. So thank you very much and have a good week, guys. Bye-bye.
The whole world stops just like that.